This is the Oculus Rift CV1. What's up everyone, I'm your host Corey, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Oculus Rift CV1. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So you want to get into VR, but you don't want to spend over $400. That's where the CV1 comes in. Costing anywhere between $200 and $350, the CV1 seems like a great deal when compared to the other more expensive headsets. So is it worth your money, or should you just save up and get the Rift S or the Vive? That's the question I hope to answer by the end of this video. So jumping straight into the specs, the CV1 has dual 1080 by 1200 OLED screens with a 90Hz refresh rate. Already this sounds like an upgrade when compared to the Rift S, and in my opinion it is. Blacks are really dark and the colors are really vivid, and since this is an OLED panel, the screen door effect isn't that noticeable. The IPD on this headset ranges from 58 to 72 millimeters. If you're unsure what that means, the IPD is the measurement of the distance between your eyes. The CV1 has a really great pair of integrated headphones that sound fantastic. This is another plus over the Rift S or the Vive. Moving on to the controllers, I personally think the CV1 controllers are the best compared to the Vive and the Rift S. They fit really well into my hands, and the button placement is perfect in my opinion. The only real issue I have with the controllers is that they each use one AA battery. This however is arguably personal preference, as I find it more convenient to be able to quickly switch to a fully charged set of batteries than to have to charge the controllers. I personally use Energizer rechargeable AA's, and they usually last about 10 hours on a full charge. But the controllers are only as good as the tracking, which is why it pains me to say that the tracking is absolute dog shit. Just kidding, the tracking is absolutely fantastic. In the 7 months that I've owned this headset, I haven't had any tracking issues. The CV1, unlike the Rift S, uses dedicated tracking sensors. These need to be mounted around your room and have a clear line of sight to the headset and the controllers. That being said, this is based on my experience with a small 6 by 3 foot play area. Other users with larger rooms have stated that the Vive's tracking is superior. So that's something you should take into consideration. So with all of the technical aspects covered, what's the support like? Well, I'm happy to say it's great. Most games support the CV1, and if they don't, SteamVR works really well to let you use the Rift on unsupported games. The only game that I ran into issues with is Portal VR. Unfortunately, whenever I load into the game, my head is just under the floor and my controllers aren't detected. As I stated earlier, the built-in audio is great on the CV1. Unfortunately, there is no external headphone output present, but I personally think the integrated headphones sound just fine. The EQ is really well balanced, and the 3D audio is great. The CV1 also has an integrated microphone, which I also think sounds fantastic. Here's a sample of what that sounds like. I am now speaking to you with the built-in microphone on the Oculus Rift CV1. Now that you've heard what the built-in mic sounds like, I do have a complaint. I think it's a little bit too sensitive. You see, when you play VR, you get really sweaty and you're moving around a lot. The problem is that whenever I'm playing VR on Discord, my friends are always complaining that they can hear me breathing. So I wish that the mic was a little less sensitive. The screens on the headset look pretty decent. There is a noticeable screen door effect, but it really isn't that intrusive. The FOV on this headset is okay. I do notice some vignetting around the corners, but when you're actually focusing on the game, you really don't even notice it's there. And finally, before I give you my final thoughts on this headset, I need to talk about the comfort. The Rift is a very comfortable headset. The weight feels pretty balanced, and sometimes I even forget that I'm wearing it because it's so light. The headband uses this really soft fabric and has a tensioning mechanism so that it makes the headset snug every time. You can adjust the headband using the Velcro on either side of the headset. The headphones are really comfortable as well. They adjust up and down and can be tilted forward and backward. So finally, the part you've all been waiting for. Should you go and buy one of these headsets? My short answer is absolutely. If you want the long answer, I think this headset is great for anyone who's new to VR and doesn't have a ton of money to drop on a fancy headset. If that's the case, then the Oculus Rift CV1 is probably the headset for you. That being said, there are cheaper alternatives if you want to try out the Windows Mixed Reality headsets. However, you'll be missing out on a lot of the awesome features that the CV1 has to offer. But anyways, that about wraps it up for this one. So if you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content like this, then consider subscribing and hit that bell icon so you won't miss any future videos. And as always, I hope to see you in the next one. Later!